All right, up here we called the open, check called flop, and can probably consider check folding the river. I just don't know how often people are going to give up with like their semi-bluff stuff on the turn. They're probably just going to bet it. And if they do give up, they're probably just going to give up. Meaning that when he gets to the river, he's probably more like ace high slow play heavy, or like queen X, stronger queen X that check back and are now trying to go for thin value on the river. If it's a small bet size, that we'll still probably end up calling, but something sizable, I would think a fold would be okay there. Yeah, we're just gonna 3-bet here. Just going for check calls here. Jacks is possible. I don't think so anymore, given that he checked back the turn. We're just going to check it down. I don't really think I'm getting much value versus like his one pair hands to check back, and we do open ourselves up to let him turn them into a bluff raise, which is not good for us. Just gonna fold here because he's so short. Yeah, the rake back. So, oh, I made a command for it. Check out. That's their rake back, or at least the program that I'm participating in. And I think check raising might also be okay here. But I think we can check call and see what develops on the turn as well. Develops into him betting a little bit larger percent of the pot. And us not getting any extra equity, so we're out of here. Here, this guy just sat down. And we min open, he called, donked into us on the flop. We get this turn, we're just going to bet and kind of hope. What a river. What a magical river. I think there's probably enough like club stuff that's bluffing and just maybe some 4x stuff that's bluffing. That I'm probably end up calling this, but I'm not stoked about it. 17. Probably just check call this guy down. My note on him is that he's just an insane bluffer. B Paris, yeah, that's the name. And gonna call the river jam. Or this size as well. And he has a full house, and that's fine. I mean, I don't expect that we always win there, but I remember this guy very, very, very clearly, and he shows up. I don't think he ever folded a hand pre-flop, and I think he bet 100% of the time when checked to for multiple streets and showed up with bluffs very, very often in spots where you would never expect it. So I'm totally happy about the king high call down there, even though it didn't work out. All right, let's try check call down line again. Let's see how many times in a row I can get proven wrong. Okay, we got one. We got one. We're gonna go for some check calls down against him. He's been playing really aggressive against me today for some reason and showing just a lot of random bluffs. So I think having a nice check call down line is good. When he checks to us twice, I think we just put out a block bet on the river. Try to get some value from the weak crap at his range. Get the ace high call down. The weak crap that has some showdown value, I guess I should say. And the table was running, so I think it's a good opportunity to get in there and mix it up a little bit. Okay. We open, he called in a small blind. Just gonna start with a 1/3 C bet. I think our hand's still strong enough to be going for value, even on the diamond turn. He folds. All right, guys, up here we got the pocket aces. Straddler. Yeah, I think when we're pretty shallow like this, we can just call with our aces and let him do what he's gonna do. Ace jack again versus aces. Did not get the runner. Jack. It was a little worrisome when he got there on the turn, but we ended up pulling through. Appreciate you, buddy. Always ran so. Yeah, sometimes it's just never easy. Pretty good board for us here. I think range versus range as well, not just specifically our hand. So we put out that small c-bet and we take it down. Still certainly worth taking a shot at. Still definitely. Oh yeah, we updated it. I updated it. Did you just fold Queen 10 suited for a min raise? WTF? I have no idea. Every once in a while, I accidentally click the fold button without realizing it. It's one of the very negative effects of trying to stream and multi-table at the same time. Like I said, he's been just pretty aggressive against me in general, so turning his hand into a bluff catcher feels pretty solid for me. All right, up here, we got a pot against Tony. Check call, check call. It's a little bit less exciting because this guy was in the pot as well, but I think we're going to make that call here with our jack. And he's got the 9-10. I'm still going to open 12 because I think he's just going to maybe jam with some stuff, call with a bunch of stuff. Missed the memo. It's the year sevens. Am I not allowed to fold pocket sevens ever? Whoops, I did not recognize. We now have king 10, which is pretty nice. We're all in here. $2.5x open. We got a nice little suited hand here. Start with a check call on this flop. Fold the aces. No. I think at this point we certainly have some king X that are betting here. We have missed flush draws. We have jack 10 that's betting here. Backdoor flush draws that actually got there. I think I overbet all of those. So we're going to go for an overbet here with the with the 3-4. And we're trying to apply some pressure to some queen X. I think if he has like queen X with like the ace of diamonds and stuff like that, he's probably going to call. Queen jack would probably call some of the time, blocking my jack 10. But we also apply some pressure to, smaller pairs, ace high for sure. Hands like 6 high, 7 high, 8 high, all that type of stuff as well. And so he did call with the queen. I had a blocker to the straight and didn't block any of my potential flush draws. I think that's a reasonable, good call. Definitely happy to 3-bet ace queen versus this guy for value. I'm going to start with a raise here. I think if he has a flush draw, just trying to get it in now or putting more money against that kind of hand is pretty good for us. So if he has an ace X that's donking, I think that it's probably never bet folding. So really we're just losing money against like pure bluffs. And Jesus. Please ace jack with the not jack of clubs. Oh, ace king. And I don't think there's just enough like pure bluffs there. So I was raising and certainly would have been willing to call a jam from him. I think we probably lost the minimum on that board. Nine's full with a fall. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Just going to see bet this board a small amount with everything and probably get a lot of folds from him, and we're happy just picking up the pot right now for that size. and then the plan is to check back a lot of turns. I'm not going to be turning my hand into a 3-street bluff here. Now we're just checking it down. This guy. Well, now that my stack is a little shallower, I'm pretty comfortable with opening. We got a follow from Deco1981 and Wonka Wins. Thank you guys for those follows. I appreciate that. Okay, when he checks back here, we're just going to start betting. And unfortunate day, our boy Tonio is no longer at the table anymore. Hey, we're getting through bet. And never folding a pair ever for that c-bet size. I think we're just gonna fold here. Yeah, the 3-4 suited polarized river bluff. I think he's supposed to call some of the time with the hand that he called with, and with some blockers to my potential straights. As far as our river bet, I do think having some straight blockers, like having a hand like Jack 9 or something, you know, stuff like that that can block some of the straights. Pocket 10s, I think, would be a good hand to turn into a bluff. Pocket Jacks is getting good enough where we probably don't really need to bluff, but there definitely are better bluffs in our range for sure. But I do think when he checks back the turn, he's just so capped that we want to be able to find a lot of potential bluffs from our hand, and I'm gonna be value betting, like I said, any king, any straight, and then I do have backdoor flushes as well there, and I think those are all gonna want to overbet for value some of the time. So we definitely have a decent amount of value hands in our range there. Going for the squeeze here. I'm just go for that sizing. Oh, you guys aren't seeing it. Okay, we're going for the squeeze here. On the queen's flop, c-bet a little over half pot. Okay, back up here. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think queen 10 is actually a better call there than this is a check back here on the turn after we get 2 callers. And check back on the river. Okay. I do think, yeah, I see what you're saying there. Yeah, I think queen 10 is better than ace queen because I'm never value betting a queen there, right? So having like a queen that could beat some of my queen X value bets, like ace queen, doesn't really make sense. So yeah, you're definitely right. Blocking straights is more important than having a high kicker for sure. Yeah, Christoborg used to run better than everyone, but he's been running pretty bad recently. And just, unless he bets a third pot, we're just going to check fold here. If he bets a third, any 2 overs needs to be calling here. Man, he's pretty darn close. All right, we're going to end up calling. Hey, we hit one of those overs. What do you know? And we value at the river. I think we have enough hands like 4-5, clubs, type stuff that I think he can have a 6 that checks back. That's going to call there. Maybe pocket 7s. I doubt he has overpairs or a ton of hands that beat us there. So he'll need to find some calls with some stuff some of the time. That's a big bet. All right, I'll just fold versus that size. I don't do very much cold calling in the small blind versus under the gun opens. Or versus anyone, really. Unless we have a like really bad player in the big blind, then we definitely widen our range a little bit. All right, over here, he opened, we 3-bet, he called. Flop, I bet a third. Turn, I'm betting pretty small bet again. And just going to call down. I don't really know if he has a ton of bluffs, but I think he might be able to do this with like king, queen. A couple combos of bluffs if he could have like some ace-5 suited type stuff, some backdoor flush draws that got there. The 8's pretty nice because it does block some of his set combos. And he has pocket 4s, and that's definitely going to happen a decent chunk of the time. But I think with our ace king here, we're just never folding. Sad freaking panda right there. Mr. I'm so lucky. Definitely got us in that one. And then he leaves. Now. Look where he showed up. He literally took all the money he just made from the 1-2 table, came straight to the 5-10. Interesting. Here, limp pot, turn went check check, or flop went check check, turn I donked. Pot he called. River, we're just gonna go with another pot size bet here. I think a flush I have to call. Got him. Got a bet here. We got a little get shot action. And gonna probably follow it up with a bet on the turn as well. I think there's certainly a bunch of stuff that in his range that gets to the turn that we can get to fold here. We get the fold with the 3 high. Let's go. I think we're just going to try to get it in right here. Or get some more money in the pot versus like his pocket jacks, ace queen type stuff. I don't think this is a spot where he's going to be 3-bet squeezing here with a super wide bluffy range, given this guy's stack size. So just trying to get it in right now. also think from these spots you can play the jacks more profitably with. I think a 3-bet is reasonable, but a call with a 4-bet. Come on. Well, that sucks. A call to 4-bet. Oh, 1 outed. Nice. That makes the sting feel so much better. A call to 4-bet's probably going to be a little bit better, or just calling and not even 3-betting and giving the recreational player more chances to be in the pot. You see there he's limping under the gun with very wide ranges. Called mid open for the button. We called him the big blind. Check call flop. Going to check call turn and have to make some tough decisions on some rivers. And we're going to block bet here for value. Not the greatest call versus his specific stack size, but we do have some blinds here that we can play in position against as well. I mean, we're getting 2-1 here in position. Definitely not going to be folding this hand. Got a pair. Can I get a 7 on the river one time, please? Nope. Just one of those runouts where you have no choice but to build a big pot going into the river, and then no choice but to fold on the river, and then be very sad about it. How much rakeback do you approximately make a month? I actually haven't had a full month playing GGPoker yet, but I did some math and ran like the numbers of hands per hour, hours per week type stuff from what I have done, and I think expecting about 6,000 a month in rakeback is quite reasonable with the pace that I've been going so far. On average, unfortunately, the way that they do their rakeback, you can have rakeback variance because you have to spin a wheel for it. And we'll see that later because I'm going to do a spin towards the end of the stream today because I have one saved up. So you'll see what I mean with that. But basically, I can probably expect on average about 1,500 a week. So 6K a month roughly. All right, over here against a recreational player, we raised to isolate his limp. He actually donked into the flop. We called turn. We got a beautiful turn. He check called and river. We're going to be putting it all in. Got him. Oh, snap a lap. We opened here. He put in a small 3-bet. We called. This is the same guy that called us down with the King-9 after we had the 2-pair. I'm just going to give him a chance to bluff it off, or obviously if he has an overpair, he's just going to keep value betting for us. We're just going to go for that call down. Oh, 5-7. Yes. Thank you, Jesus. Appreciate you, buddy. Over here in the 2-4 game, we got pocket queens. guy posted blind.